You're listening to The Foundation of Wellness, a refreshing take on diet and lifestyle, with Jessica Dogert, a registered dietitian nutritionist, and Marisa Moon, a primal health coach.
Hey, my name is Jessica Dogert, and I'm a registered dietitian nutritionist, and I'm the voice behind Mindful Musings, a multifaceted food, wellness, and lifestyle journal that launched in July of 2018 in order to just inspire others to treat their bodies right so they can unlock confidence and energy in every area of their life. So today's episode is episode 10, and it is all about elimination diets. You know, Marisa and I briefly chatted about elimination diets in episode 4 as a way to just get your gut healthy. So if you haven't listened to that episode, I really encourage you to do so because there are so many fun ways to get your gut healthy, like perhaps trying an elimination diet or even intermittent fasting. You know, I really want to start off by letting you guys know how important it is that food is fuel. You know, food is going to fuel our workouts and our daily lives. The food that we put into our bodies, they should leave us feeling good, really, really good, energized and focused. But for some people, certain foods may drag them down rather than pump them up. And in the case of food allergies or intolerances or sensitivities, they may provide really unpleasant symptoms like bloating and gas and diarrhea and constipation. And sometimes they can even cause non-GI issues like headaches and migraines and acne, and aches and pains and mood swings and low energy levels and even itchy eyes. So here's the thing, everybody's body responds to foods differently. So sometimes our body doesn't necessarily love every food we eat, or our immune system might recognize something as like a foreign invader. And while it's possible to have a food allergy, insensitivity, or even intolerance to any given food, I think the most common culprits are going to be things like alcohol, coffee, corn, dairy, eggs, peanuts, also tree nuts, soy, and wheat. So yes, even incredibly healthy foods like eggs and almonds can cause issues for some people. Okay, question. How can people who are suffering from these symptoms like headaches and brain fog and bloating and gas find out if the issue is in the food that they are eating? And here's the answer. I think one common strategy is to perform an elimination diet. Elimination diets actually help to identify the foods that your body does and does not like. So once these triggering foods are identified, you can actually modify your diet with the help of a dietitian or a primal health coach to just help improve digestion and reduce things like inflammation. If you think you might be suffering from a food sensitivity, an allergy, or an intolerance, then this episode is for you. It may be a really good idea to just try an elimination diet. I'm going to walk you through 2 very popular and effective elimination diets. Are you guys ready? Of course you are. Okay, so I want to start off by talking about the Whole30 program. It's been around since 2009, so that's like 9 years. You know, the Whole30 program is an online phenomenon. It was originally developed as this 30-day clean eating reset, so you can think Paleo meets an elimination diet. And its popularity has since created this global virtual community of people who just swear by its power to change your life. And the basic premise is that many people are sensitive to foods often considered healthy, like grains and beans. And you cut those food groups out for a while and then take stock of how you feel. So when the 30 days are up, you can continue to eat this way, or you can gradually add some of the foods back in one by one to see which may be causing your issues. You know, something I've noticed with my clients is that, you know, those who adhere to a Whole30, you know, feel really well and like want to kind of continue this paleo diet afterwards. So I want to talk about what I love about the Whole30 program. You know, you get to eat real food. You get to eat moderate portions of meat, seafood, eggs, lots of veggies, some fruit, plenty of natural healthy fats, And you also get herbs and spices and seasonings. So you eat foods with very few ingredients, all pronounceable ingredients. Or better yet, no ingredient list at all because they're all whole and unprocessed. I mean, that's just music to a dietitian's ears. Okay, so what do you have to avoid for the 30 days? A lot. I mean, you have to avoid added sugar, whether that's real or artificial. So no honey, no maple syrup, no coconut sugar, no stevia, no Splenda, no xylitol. You want to make sure that you are reading your labels because companies sneak sugar into products in ways that you might not recognize. You also have to avoid alcohol. You have to avoid grains, so that's going to be gluten-free grains like quinoa and buckwheat, but that's also wheat and rye and barley and oats and corn and rice. You have to avoid legumes, so that's black beans and red beans and pinto beans and even chickpeas and lentils, and no peanuts either. Peanuts are considered to be a legume. So that means no peanut butter, and also all forms of soy, like edamame and miso and tofu and soy sauce and things like that. You have to eliminate dairy, so that's going to be cow, goat, and sheep's milk products. So no ice cream, no sour cream, no yogurt, no milk, no cheese. And then you also have to eliminate things like sulfites and MSG and carrageenan. Okay, so let's talk pros and cons. I think one pro is that the foods you eat on Whole30 are all so great for you. You're eating whole, clean foods like loads of veggies, high quality meats, and spices. And the con. So the biggest downside of this diet is that the protocol does not allow for even the smallest of slip-ups. So I'm going to read you something from the manual. 1 bite of pizza, 1 spoonful of ice cream, 1 lick of the spoon mixing the batter within the 30-day period, and you've broken the reset button, requiring you to start over again on day 1. Yikes! Okay, I think the bottom line is if you're looking for a major diet overhaul, Whole30 may be worth trying. I wanted to read 2 testimonials from real people who have actually tried the diet because I find these testimonials so incredibly inspiring to me. So this one is coming from Hillary, who lives in Wisconsin. She says, I finished my Whole30 yesterday and I feel great. I lost 7 pounds and my skin looks fantastic. I've had acne since the 5th grade and my face hasn't been this clear since then. I just can't express how incredibly happy I am for doing this. These 30 days have been life-altering and awesome. How awesome is that? And then I have one more from Dominic from New York. And Dominic says, to say that the Whole30 is life-changing would be an understatement. Of course there are physical changes, weight loss, an increase in strength and stamina, but following the Whole30 has allowed me to take control of my health that has spilled over to all parts of my life. I have severe anxiety and panic attacks that just come out of nowhere, but you know what? All of that is gone. The mental attitude that I currently have is priceless. I'm naturally optimistically calm and happy. I still have my bad days and getting irritated, but, I could deal with all of that so much better and just let it roll off my back. Oh my goodness, how cool is that? I think definitely consider trying the Whole30 because these 2 testimonials, and I know so many others, have just declared it to be life-changing. Okay, so I want to talk about one more elimination diet that is really trendy right now, and that's the Autoimmune Protocol, or AIP for short. So it's really perfect for those looking to just resolve autoimmune diseases like Crohn's disease and rheumatoid arthritis and even food sensitivities. By the way, there are more than 50 million people with autoimmune conditions in the United States. The cool thing is that AIP is not just for those battling with an autoimmune disease. It's actually ideal for anyone who wants to enhance their cognitive performance and mental clarity and just say see you later to things like gas and bloating and a weakened immune system and even low energy levels. Okay, so one of my favorite quotes is, all disease begins in the gut. In order to overcome many disease states, we need to heal our leaky guts. So by sealing up the holes in your gut wall, the immune system can finally take a break and just quit producing inflammation. And given a long enough break, the body's actually able to switch from this survival mode into healing mode and just start fixing all of that tissue damage that was caused by the chronic inflammation. So once the gut is healed, autoimmune diseases can finally go into remission. The big question is, though, how exactly do you heal a leaky gut? So that's what the Autoimmune Protocol diet is all about. The AIP diet, I will say, it is a very restrictive diet. It removes foods that are considered to be gut irritants. It's Whole30 taken up a notch. So you're going to be removing nuts like almonds and walnuts and seeds like chia seeds and flax seeds, all beans and legumes. So that's going to be soy and peanuts and lentils and chickpeas and kidney beans, all grains, so even gluten-free grains like quinoa, but grains like corn and wheat and rye and barley and oats. You also have to eliminate sweeteners like xylitol and stevia. You can't have dried fruit, and you actually have to keep your fruit to a minimum, about like a piece or 2 pieces per day. You have to avoid all dairy, all processed foods, which I'm of course on board for. You can't drink alcohol. You also cannot consume chocolate or eggs, gums like guar gum, gum arabic. So gums are typically going to be found in things like yogurt or almond milk or something like that. This one's big. You can't consume nightshade veggies. So that's going to be tomatoes and potatoes and peppers and eggplant and paprika and mustard seeds. And no damaging oils like canola oil or safflower oil. And you also can't consume culinary herbs from seeds. So things like dill seed, mustard seed, fennel seed. Okay, so you might be wondering what foods are actually allowed on the autoimmune protocol. You can eat all the veggies except for nightshades. You can have fruit. You can have a piece or 2 pieces of fruit per day. You could have a bunch of coconut, like coconut oil and coconut butter and coconut aminos and canned coconut. You could have shredded coconut flakes. You could have a lot of healthy fats like olives and olive oil and coconut oil and avocados and lard and bacon and cultured ghee. You could be eating fermented foods like coconut yogurt and kombucha and coconut water and coconut kefir and fermented veggies like sauerkraut or kimchi. You could be consuming grass-fed bone broth, grass-fed meats, poultry, seafood, and you can have non-seed herbal teas. You could have green tea. You could have vinegar like apple cider vinegar. And then you are allowed sweeteners. You're allowed to have a little bit of honey and maple syrup, and then herbs like cinnamon and turmeric and ginger. So as restrictive as the AIP diet is, there are so many fun recipes to try on the World Wide Web. So I ended up Googling AIP recipes, and what popped up was banana bread donuts, crispy fish tacos, plantain sandwich rounds, sage pork patties. Oh my goodness, everything sounded so delicious online. If you're not really a savvy cook, there's this really cool online meal delivery service called Paleo on the go, and you can actually get $15 off your first order. But they have things like beef pot pie. That brings me back to childhood. They have this like creamy chicken with a bacon Alfredo. So that's really something to consider too. If you're going to be testing out this AIP lifestyle for a while, and if you're really not kitchen savvy, you can always try this online meal delivery service called Paleo on the go. And if you're wondering where you can buy, AIP compliant products, it's called shopaip.com. So I was introduced to this company at PaleoFX. It's just an AIP online grocery store of things like Epic bars and coconut aminos and an all-purpose seasoning and cassava flour and tiger nut flour. I love this online store. I just think it's really cool that, the health community is just really becoming aware of how popular and how transforming elimination diets can be, and how many cool things are out there now, like an online grocery store specifically for AIP compliant products, and an online meal delivery program so you don't have to do the cooking yourself. I just think that's really cool. I really want to talk about just the importance of reintroduction. I think, of course, you eliminate these foods for a good 6 to 8 weeks. But then what you have to know is you reintroduce only one food every 5 days. And when you reintroduce the food, you want to eat enough of it to just elicit a response. So a small bite, then a few hours later, a spoonful, and then at night, a serving. And I think it's also important to just keep this food reintroduction notebook. I think writing everything down from the time you consume the food to how you feel a few hours later to how you feel a day or 2 days later. And that's because it could take up to 72 hours to actually produce an immune response to foods depending on which one. So it could be physical or mental. It could be brain fog. It could be aches and joints. It could be stomach aches. It could be feeling hungover. It could be bloating and gas and constipation and insomnia and fatigue and memory loss. I mean, it could be anything. I think the big takeaway is that an elimination diet can be a very effective tool for just discovering foods at the root of chronic health problems. And the results can be truly life-changing. But this kind of dietary shift, it is a huge commitment and it does need to be executed correctly. So I think my best advice would be don't do it on your own. Seek the help of a dietitian who's experienced with elimination diets and allow him or her to just guide you. If you have any questions regarding the Whole30 program or the Autoimmune Protocol, please feel free to reach out to me, Jessica. My email is Jess, Jess, Dogert, Dogert @gmail.com. So stay tuned for next week's episode as we continue to talk about elimination diets. We'll be talking about a low FODMAP diet for IBS as well as the Paleo diet. And if you haven't liked us on Facebook, please do so. Go to facebook.com and find the Foundation of Wellness podcast. Leave us a review. We love you guys.